My name is Droxy Yaxley on Facebook. My real name is Carrie. So yes, I'm a girl. You may have seen me as Professor Snape at many cons. So one of the things here we're going to teach you is the secrets that I can do to do what's known as realistic drag. And today I'm Argus Filch. So just hit an advanced key. It says, why are you here? Well, you're here for an obvious reason. You want to learn some techniques. But realistic crossplay and drag, it ain't easy, people. I'm telling you right now, doing realistic drag is time-consuming, expensive, and painful. And then I added the fourth bullet, socially risky. If I'm Professor Snape doing muggle leather biker Snape at a con's okay. We're all happy campers here. You go out in the real world and they hear this voice, I could get beat up in a parking lot. It's a fact of life. And I just do this for fun. I'm not political about it. There's no quick or easy solution to serious gender bending or drag. Folks, it took me 4.5 hours to do the makeup. Snape, about the same. Dark Lord and other complex people get about 6. This isn't fast. And you must really want to love or do this because you are going to suffer. That's not funny. My 2 roommates here, and I'm going to fess up some TMI here, I'm not bound today because my binders bit me yesterday. And you know what I'm talking about? It's like really down here is you get some serious chafing and damage, and that's doing it properly. Okay? And that's my own fault. I'm a little bit heavy for it. And everything I learned online and from other drag kings. And if any males in here trying to dress as women, okay, we've got to, booyah, okay. So what we're gonna address your concerns as well, even though I know a lot of you are gals. So what are we gonna look at? We're gonna look at some complex characters. Look, it's easy to drag as a girl if you do something ugly, right? It's easy to be ugly. You also have to deal with your body type, okay? I'm tall, no house elf for me, unless I wanna do something campy, okay? And I have a specific type. We'll get into that later. But everybody here has a specific body type they have to live with. Drag is about foundations and illusion. And you're never going to be perfect if you're trying to do drag. It goes for the queens too. And it's all about acting and body language. Now I'm out of character here today, but we'll also address that. And then we have common costume mistakes that when you're doing your crossplay, things that will give you out in 2.5 nanoseconds. Hit the next. So let's talk a little bit about complex characters. Here we're seeing 2 versions of Albus Dumbledore. Both of these are women, okay? So what do we like about complex characters? Well, they're well described in the book, right? And examples are Mad-Eye, Scrimgeour with his lion's mane of hair, Snape, Dumbledore, Sirius, Vernon, Draco, Ghosts, Ollivander, Hagrid, blah, blah, blah. If you do a complex character, it's easier to do drag because you can hide a multitude of sins behind facial hair, noses, and other prosthetics. And it's also ageless. You can be young, you can be 51 years old. And I can look like an old decrepit Filch, right? So, or I can be a Snape. And here we have an example of a gal who's doing Mad-Eye Moody, and I don't know what's in the dog suit.
Isn't that?
Okay, yeah.
But isn't that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who it is.
Okay, so let's talk about body type and age. I've aged out, okay, of certain cosplay. I can't see myself cosplaying a student. I'm 51 years old. I have lines. It's not going to work. My boobs go down on my hips. I mean, it's just not going to work. So younger can do older, but older doing younger is very difficult unless you cover your face with prosthetics and hair. And it's best not to employ wishful thinking. You know, you're going to have to work with your body type and not against it. Yes, I would love to be the beautiful Bellatrix Lestrange, but this body ain't going to cut it right now. Okay? So we're going to try and work with what we want to do. Same thing with guys. I mean, let's face it, if you've got wide shoulders, I'm very narrow, okay? You have wide shoulders, you have to work with those and equalize your body out. So work with your body that you have. If you're a man and you're big, okay, what?
I was teasing, I'm sorry. I said girl, I look good.
And I bet you do. You come dance with me when I'm Snape. I lead. Okay, each body type has its challenges, and I touched on a few of these already. We have height, weight, proportion. I'm high-waisted. My waist is up to here. Okay. You also have face shape, face feature, and for us gals, bust. For guys, it's your shoulders and your face. Yeah, and every cosplayer has to handle hips, and this goes for the queens, but especially for the kings. Hips are going to drive your illusion. So here we've basically got, what are we working about with your body type? And I'm gonna try and see if this cord's gonna make it over. But what this is showing you is a various body type. Okay, if you're here, you can do here, and you can maybe pad out to get to there. If you're a guy and you're skinny and you want to do umbrage, you got some work to do to get from here to here. Likewise, if you're a girl here, you can probably do this, but then you're going to be having to really do a lot of work once you get to here. Granted, let's face it, a lot of us gals are probably in this range. You ain't getting here. The law of physics and matter, you know, Einstein's right, okay? So if you want to be a skinny, heroin-addicted rock star, getting from here to here is going to require athletic training, folks. There's no way around it. Bindings can only go so far. Ditto for you guys. If you're in this range, you ain't going to look like sweet little, like the gal who was doing the pole dance last night, who with the abs of steel. You're going to have to work it. And being exposed as a drag queen is a little easier than a king. But next slide. Now what we want to do, we talked about structure and foundation, because the rest is just makeup and costumes. That's the easy part. We're going to have to mimic your gender profile, which we're going to show on the next slide, and hips. I cannot tell you how many times hips are going to define your silhouette or drape, and buying larger clothing isn't the total solution. And that's really a note to our drag kings. Queens, you're going to have to buy bigger clothing that's going to fit you. So yeah, you size 8 women's clothing, you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to go through shopping if you're going to do that. You are going to buy to your size. Likewise, for women, you're going to have a different kind of size. You're going to be buying to the biggest part of your body, and you're going to try and equalize that. And how do we equalize that? We're going to do padding, and that's often an overlooked aspect, because if you go to a drag king site, you go, oh, you're just going to buy baggy clothing. Yes, it's baggy clothing, but there's more to it than that. You have to fill out here, and if you have to buy a male suit to fit your hips, and you're going to pad out. And packing only if your costume demands it. If you're Professor Snape and you're walking around in a frock coat, nobody's going to see your package. For guys, you're going to have to hide yours. But if you're wearing a skirt or a Minerva McGonagall costume, you don't have to hide so much, right? So your principles are in reverse of what goes on here. This was an art lesson somebody had on DeviantArt, and she was forever and ever on DeviantArt. And she shows you what I'm trying to tell you. As a female, you've got this hourglass going on. As a drag king, you want to get to the V. Frankly, the best you're going to do is make a rectangle. Men, you want to get to here, you're going to put on foundation wear. You're going to corset and you're going to pad. So you're going to cinch that waist and bring out the hips. You may have to pad your butt depending on your body type, and you're going to have to get what I call the bra from hell. and she can tell you about that. but the bra from hell is you can go to any store, buy these super padded bras, and what you're going to do is make a gel pack, and you're going to stick it in your bra. Now, if you want real cleavage, you're going to actually have to invest some real money, like thousands of dollars, like the guys on RuPaul Drag King, which is an amazing thing, and it's very expensive. But just for con, you can just work with a bra and fill it with a double layered gel pack that you can mold on your own. It's really not that hard. Okay, go to the next one. Okay, now when you're dealing with a female, this is where we have to get realistic about our bodies. Droxy's a rectangle. So when I bind, I'm pushing my fat up and I'm compressing my boobs out. And it will make me more of a rectangle. And then I pad out. Now, if you're a pair, which is what a lot of women are, and that would be Emily if you're in the room. There you go. Emily is a pair. She's got to really work on her padding and work on this hip suppression. And then slender figures are your people who can usually do is like a Logos Pilgrim. And you can stand up and show everyone what a slender is. Hi. Now Logo is already small, and this is usually somebody who might do a student. All right, or somebody who's athletic, who's small, like a seeker on a Quidditch team. And then you have an hourglass, which is my friend Irish up here. And hourglasses are really hard to convert because they're going to have to pad and come up with the rectangle profile. This is where they're going to have to work with their clothing structure better. And when we work with our clothing structure better, what we're going to do is we're going to take interfacing and let it do a lot of the work. And if we look at some of the people around here, when you do your front panels on your costumes, if you make your own, you're going to put that interfacing in there to give you that flat profile. For guys, you're going to dart, and you're going to pad out where the gals have padding. Your hips, your bust, and you're going to make sure you can draw that waist in. And to do that with color, you're going to have like black panels and bright colors going down to make you look slender and to provide curves. You following me? Yeah, you're nodding, so that's good. Next. Okay, structure and foundation. I keep telling you this, every cosplayer has to handle hips. The hips are going to drive your illusion. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. The majority of drag kings are going to have to suppress your hips. We use men's lower medical compression briefs is the easiest solution I've seen. Or you use the women's thigh girdles. They come here, they come up to here, they got panels all over Kingdom Come, double compressed. That's what you use, and you buy to your size. So if you want to be the skinny rock star and you're as big as me, you can't buy a size 2 girdle and expect your toes to fit in it. I have to buy to my 42-inch hips, all right? Or you will really, really suffer. And that's what I'm saying. And I want to show you something. When I started making drag, I started out cheap because, like I said, what is this? You have to really want to do it. It's painful, time-consuming, and expensive. Well, I tried the cheap solution. And folks, you're talking to somebody who's got a big C cup. This is a girdle that I cut the crotch out. Booyah! I had to...
It's like being in a strip club.
Okay, who wants to look at it?
They actually do make those now. I'm wearing one.
Right, I've got some examples, but this is a men's medical binder. And it's kind of like a corset. It's got boning in it, right? You guys are going to be doing the same thing. It's just structured differently. You'll actually get a real corset that you see all the girls walking around and they look so sweet and fun. But this is what men who have abdominal surgery or they have back surgery, they will buy this from a medical supply house. It is cheaper than going to the transgender sites, people, and they work better and they're washable. And it's double paneled, and that helps me make my rectangle. This is Droxy Binder 2. This is layer 1. I have to double bind because I've got C cups. I told you it was painful. Your pain points for someone like me are here in the underarms. I sewed Velcro on it to stop my other binder from rolling up. Binder roll will murder you. Okay, and then I padded this. I stripped the bra that I had, and I put the padding on the inner, and then I have pad out. So I put Velcro on the strap so I can put my shoulder pads on, and they don't slip. Yes, I can pin the shoulder straps into the shirt, like I did here, but the shirt rolls and the padding moves with it. This keeps it with your body. So your muscles move with your body. Guys, you're gonna put that padding into your garment. I don't care if you sew it or use Velcro, just remember you're gonna be washing these things. It's always good to be able to make the padding removable. And here's my cord. And I will tell you this, the best you can hope for is a rectangle. Getting the true male shape is difficult. For guys, you're gonna have to corset and come up with a technique to keep your top open and your hips open, and you're just gonna pull that inside one. So what you're gonna do with your corset is you're gonna have 3 sets of laces in there. Because if girls who've worn corsets know you have a single strand of lace, lacing in the back. But even though you do it, your corset starts to shift over time. It's gonna start forming to your V. So you need to have a top and lower that you can keep loose, but have that middle one that will stay tight on your waist. And then you fill in the rest with stuffing. Got me? And you're gonna build out from what you are. Do not overcompress. So there you go. And you can also go online as Kings and buy the girdles with the padding inserts if you want to go easy. Go to the next one. These are some examples of shoulder pads. I kind of made my own. I took some old pads and I put my own Velcro on them. This is a t-shirt. This is not an ace bandage, but it is a tube top with Velcro type binder. I've never used these, but I just saw them. It's going to be interesting. And I think this is actually fairly economical. This is sort of an arrangement that I use without having to stand here in it. So this is actually a guy doing this, and this is a double layer right here. He's single layer here, and he's wearing the lower medical binder brief. I find that this actually works really good, but I'm thinking of going to this because of the underarm issue stress. This is more expensive than this, obviously, for a reason. And I had to learn that lesson, folks, so you don't have to. Okay.
It's more difficult to get your arms in it.
Yeah, but I have helpers, so. And that goes for the drag queens too. Having help matters, especially when you're gonna corset up. Next. Okay, now, who's that pretty girl over there? Huh? I'm gonna have to walk in front of this.
Snape and crab.
Who's that girl? This is me when I lost a bunch of weight, maybe about 5 years ago. But I did this guy shortly afterwards. All right? This was last time I was here at the beautiful Margate. And then there's also from the Margate when I did the fashion show and everybody calls me Rockstar Snape. 3 different versions of Snape, 3 different types of guys. You also have types of girls. You could be anybody from an Umbridge to an old lady, or like Dana Carvey did, the church lady. Remember that from Saturday Night Live? So you guys can do the same thing. I'm just showing here an example. I go from this to this, this, and this. And there's an art to that. So we go to here and show you the effects of compression garments on a human. This is me. And that far one over says no compression. This is a single compression shirt, and this is a double compression shirt. Can you see what's happening to my body? Next. Okay, this is just the same view. Watch what happens. No compression, one compression, and all of a sudden, look what happens when I double bind. You want to get the flat profile. You'll never get rid of your boobs unless you're an A cup, all right? As for guys, you're going to get a bra. And like I said, you're going to fill it up or you're going to get a corset. And if you corset, I also want you to put on a bra. So when you put in your jiggly bits that might be showing under a blouse, that you'll have that support for it because your corset won't do it alone. and you're going to have to protect those packets of gel, or you can make them out of silicone yourself instead of the water bags. Okay, so hurtful binding practices, one of my favorite subjects to get preachy on, ouch or worse. Too tight of binding. Who else has done too tight of binding? Yes, yes. The thing is about the binding, like I said, you have to buy to your size and work with your body type. And I know our vision is what it is. But instead of binding, like today, I'm standing here in front of you, I think as a fairly convincing extreme character, I'm not bound. Because I'm doing tricks of illusion. Right? And these are my husband's pants that aren't going home. That I had to modify because my butt's too big. And this is an old fishing jacket, and it all just came together looking rather filthy. This is Olivander's old shirt, and then gloves. I hide my hands as women. Men, you're going to have to put on the nails and the sparkly rings. And if you have big pudgy man hands, or you got hair on your hands, you're going to have to remove it, because you'll get busted. All right, so you're going to have this too tight of binding problem. That's probably the hardest one to do, especially even if you're trying to do it right, because I tried to compensate for those problems and I've been unsuccessful, and I'm still looking for better solutions, and I've been doing this for how many years now? 6, 7. And duct tape. Not so much for the drag queens, but for you kings. A word about duct tape is don't do it. And I will tell you, you'll run into people who do open-shirted binding. With my boobs, that ain't gonna happen in the world. But if you put duct tape on your skin and you leave it there, you will necrofy. Number 2, you better be thinking far ahead on how the hell you're gonna remove it. Because a hot shower and soap is going to do it. You are going to rip your skin. It's going to effing hurt. And yeah, I can see the pain on Logos Pilgrim's face. Don't do it. There is only one method of duct tape binding that I'm going to discuss here that's remotely safe. And you need a partner to do it. It's called the sacrificial t-shirt method. You're going to get an old t-shirt, and as girls, you're going to tailor that t-shirt as much as you can on a sewing machine to your body. Then you're going to go get a friend, and you're going to pull those boobs up to where you need, and they're going to start wrapping you from the bottom up. And make sure you put something in that shirt that gives you a ½ inch of breathing rooms, because and if they tape you while you're in an in or out breath, you have to be careful when you do it. Then once you're taped up, you go dress up and you go do. The way you're going to get out of it is a pair of scissors. And don't get drunk in it. Because if something happens to you and you have to go in an emergency ambulance, you're in a duct tape t-shirt. I'm sorry for the language, but I'm very anti-duct tape. You got that? Don't do it. It's like don't text and drive, don't duct tape for binding. The other one's using non-breathable material. Let me talk about PVC and latex. And this goes for queens. If you want to be Miss Gothic sexy BSDM kitten with a whip type of gal, you wear PVC and latex, you have 2 hours. That goes for drag kings, or you necrofy. That crap doesn't breathe. Your skin will die. You hear me? Be very careful and very cognizant if you want to do that. It's usually done for people who do stage shows because they're only in and out of their costumes for a short period of time. But we're at con, and I'm in this for 16 hours. You cannot be in this stuff for 16 hours. You will go to the hospital. It is bad news, okay? And then there's the binder roll-up problem, one of my big problems, because I'm a rectangle and I get it, and I'm an apple and I'm a belly. So if I get a short binder, it starts to roll. And as it rolls, that elastic starts to go in there, and it's like, I can't breathe.
Yep.
This is general law. This is a big mistake. When you costume, you want to make sure you are able to drink, smoke, go to the bathroom in your costume. Even in your binders, even in your corsets. You guys are going to have an interesting time, because then you have to go to the men's room. And I always wondered what you guys did dressed in drag, because I'll tell you, going as Professor Snape into the ladies' room has always been an interesting experience. Go to the next. Now here we are, we're into the padding out. And what you're seeing here is Sonia, and I'm doing her up as Remus Lupin et Portus. And I want to point out that we're double binding her, and she's a small thing. Okay, she's about the size of you. Not you, the gal in front of you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pin and Velcro this to your compression t-shirt or to your costume. I prefer to do it to the binder so it moves with my body. Pad the shoulders to align with your hips and fill out the men's jacket. You're going to buy for the biggest part of your body, either your tummy or your hips or your ass or your thighs, I don't care. But I guarantee you that's going to be bigger than your shoulders if you're female. So pad out on the shoulders. You may also want to pad up here, because if you've got boobs, padding up here gives you an illusion of pectorals. Guys, you're padding out on the butt. Now keep in mind, I'm a girl and I don't have a butt, and you don't have a butt. So we're members of the Flat Ass Society. We want that nice butt, we just weren't born with it. Know that women don't have butts and some do. And if you're going to do that, you're going to make a special kind of assembly that's going to give you that thigh padding. I would make an elastic around my leg and attach the pad and have an elastic come across here. That way you can go to the bathroom and you have the padded hips or the padded thighs, and then you can also pad your hips. That's how I would do it. It's engineering. It's an engineering problem I haven't had, but that's how I'm thinking of approaching your problem. You're going to overlap multiple pad sticks in the shoulder line. You're not going to find one pad that's going to do it all. You'll notice she's clamshelled. And you're going to take it maybe an inch over your shoulders. And make buyer enhanced pads, just make sure they're dense, because if you get those soft, fluffy ones, they're going to fail under the weight of a Snape costume or a coat. And for guys, you're not going to pad your shoulders at all. You're going to have a worse problem. You have to tailor to fit. And no spaghetti straps. And don't forget to shave your chest hair.
And back hair.
And back hair, yes. And pluck your nose hairs. Okay, now secondary sex characteristics. Little details matter. Okay, one of the things is whiskers. And I have a couple of things that I do. It depends on your character. If you're like a Remus Lupin or somebody who's blonde, you can go with a 5 o'clock shadow with makeup, but you're going to use 3 colors, usually brown, a kind of yellow, a white, that kind of thing, shades of brown and gray. Stubble, you can use makeup, or I use hair clippings when I do Snape, as you can see here. There's Lynn Roy. You can see her sitting right there. She's also done up with a facial prosthetic and stubble. This is crepe hair. This isn't my normal hair clippings. Beards and mustaches, wig type attachments, blah, blah, blah. Eyebrows. If you're girls, no shaping or plucking. Drag queens, shape and pluck. Opposites, remember? And hair for drag kings, none of these cute points. Like, I can look at the gals with the short hair and you have points. Men don't have that.
Unless you do have a character that does have.
Right, she has points. She's got points. She's got points.
Yeah.
We're still very young.
So you got points.
18.
And no hard bangs. So if you're doing, now, once again, if you're guy, opposite. And if, David, I know, I love you, but you're starting to lose your hair, you're going to have to wear a wig. Or crepe hair.
Wig is the least of my concerns.
Can work with you later.
I've got to tell me about
And the other thing is you've got to remove your residuals. Flips. Guys, I don't know what your residuals would be, but if you're a drag king, get rid of the nail polish.
What if I'm a punk guy?
Don't argue with this. If you want to be andro, this is realistic drag. If you want to be andro or you want to be, okay, David Bowie in Labyrinth, okay, fine. Is he wearing nail polish in the movie? I don't think so. Okay, so, okay, but you're gonna get, okay, then I'll use the caveat, depending on the character you're trying to do. Okay, if you're gonna dress as Boy George, who I think's a girl anyway, then yeah, all right, then you're gonna get rid of the fake nails, unless you're doing something that requires fake nails. And then, please, hide the cutesy femtats. Real men don't wear butterfly tattoos. Don't argue with it. You're trying to fool people. You have, if you're female or male, trying to be a female, you almost have to go to the extreme. When I'm Snape, I try to be as extreme male as I can be. Filch is a bit campy, all right? I'm trying to do age and attitude with this costume, but hide your femininity. Don't wear your earrings. Keep going. Body language. Yes, men behave differently than women and vice versa. Don't argue with me on this, because it's true. You're seeing me acting like a girl dressed as a guy. But if you're dressing as a guy, you have to portray confidence at all costs. Men have a sense of a right to be in this world. To get political, they call it male privilege. Don't ask me what the hell that means, because I don't think about like that. But they have a sense of right to be in this world. Men, on the other hand, you got to learn opposite. You have to become self-conscious and concerned and all kinds of female looks that we could talk about at a bar. But this is also very hard to do. You spend time psyching yourself into your character, and it's like even someone as decrepit as Filch is going to be more confident than your average woman on the street. And this is very hard to do. This is the biggest thing you have to do. You get this down, you'll become believable in your drag. And you're going to move with your shoulders leading, not, okay, girls lead with their hips, right? Men lead with your shoulders. They turn on the shoulders. Women turn on the hip. See the difference?
Oh, that's just creepy.
Women will talk to you like this. Men will talk to you in the same emotion like this, or like this. Or they'll push the, they'll put their hands in their pockets. And women do this, and I do this a lot because I'm a girl. So that's what. And when you're a male and you're female, you're going to walk with your feet, just like Lynn's showing you here. Is you're going to walk with your feet pointing slightly out because you're leading with those. This will help you roll with the shoulders. As a drag king, you're going to walk like this. As a drag queen, you're going to put one foot in front of the other and force yourself to walk this way.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's also walking on the heels of your feet versus the balls of your feet.
Right. And when you're dealing with the opposite sex as your character, men hold women by the waist or by the hand or regency or whatever your character wants to do, but they tend to take the over position. Men will hold over the shoulder with another guy, unless they're gay males, but don't get me complicated. Stand tall, unless you're Filch or somebody old, and never put your hands on your hips, and don't overly futz with your hair, and then I have any questions. But next one. Common costumes mistakes, one of my favorite. Wearing improper wedding rings. Yes, Snape has that wonderful, beautiful diamond solitaire.
Theory for that.
Wearing women's clothing is men's. Yes, I did that. The reason is your buttons are on opposite sides and the styling is different. I've seen a lot of people do that. Wearing earrings if you're not a pirate.
Unless it's Bill or Mary.
Unless you're Bill, unless your character demands it. If you're doing drag king, no earrings. For drag queens, you're going to want to wear bigger earrings to match your bigger ears. Okay? None of this dainty crap on a drag queen.
No.
Be a queen. Live at large. You got bigger ears, you need to make bigger earrings. Not wearing gloves might be the same problem for you if you don't shave your hands. I wear gloves. One of the things I was told early on in my drag is my hands gave me away. Wearing pink unless your character demands it, okay, so you're Gilderoy Lockhart, you get license. But you don't generally wear pink unless it's like a Hawaiian shirt or something. Wearing women's shoes as a man. These are hiking boots, they're unisex, they're legal. Same goes opposite. The only unisex shoes are sneakers, but even girls' sneakers are different than men's sneakers. And this will out you. Wearing hats incorrectly. Men and women wear hats differently. Opposite siding again. Glasses. Do not wear your girly glasses as a guy. Wear your unisex ones, wear them square, but no Lita Skeeter. Rita Skeeter, haha. Rita Skeeter glasses. And yes, I've made most of these mistakes myself. And I was outed on the wedding rings. And women's clothing. And women's shoes. Next. So here's some links. We also want to talk a little bit about eyebrows. I think I missed that. You can't pluck. I'm wearing fake eyebrows today because I'm Filch and it needs to go with the wig and everything. So if you're doing a drag king and you have these overly plucked eyebrows, it is not going to work. You do not underestimate this. If you go to this link, you will understand more of what it is, but eyebrows on men are a power symbol. Isn't that weird? And they sell all kinds of eyebrow enhancement crap on the internet. Now, why is that? Well, yeah, cancer victims and all that, but there's a whole point with this. If you're gonna drag king, you've got to let your eyebrows grow out, even if you unibrow, which is probably even better. Once again, the flip side, you guys have to pluck or come up with a way to tame your eyebrows, unless you already have thin ones. Go. Did she time me?
I don't know.
Do I still have time? Okay.
Very for my ending. One thing is, one of my friends, and I know we corresponded about this, is a specialist in Shakespeare male roles, and you've seen a picture of her.
Yes.
Yeah, good. And just adding to the body thing, what Lisa taught me is that men don't break line. So any just like bending, pulling on your ankles, bending at your knees, like women tend to have like that, and then just
Yes.
it's just straight lines. It outs me every time.
Except for sometimes you have to do wand work. Once again, it's within the context. But yeah, that's a really good point.
I thought that was interesting.
And there's an interesting site called like James Dean Body Language, or How to Look Cool for body language. So yeah, you stand with your feet apart, men. Right? So you're gonna stand with your feet apart. Men are gonna probably stand with their feet together, more like your ankles together, like your Dorothy, click, 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 remember? And so, but as a guy, you're gonna stand like this, and you get yourself into that mental state.
I heard it described once as guys take up more space.
Yeah.
Yes, that's part of that sense of rightness in the world and a sense of confidence. It's like, I have a right to be here. I'm doing girl now. I have a right to be here. Yeah, men are very much in the here and now, and they provoke presence, unless you're playing like a meek, nerdy guy, you know, or somebody like that. A Neville. Yes? You had a question?
Just wondering about the body language thing. One exercise I heard that was really useful for women cosplaying was sitting in a chair or a couch. Couch is an even better example. And seeing how much space they can take up. Because guys will just naturally do that. Well, actually, if I can move my arm, guys will sit like this.
Yeah, they'll sit like this.
And women will be like,
And if you're playing guys, you cross your legs at the knee, you rest your ankle on the knee. I know some of you can't see it. Or if you're sitting, you stretch out and you cross at the ankle and do this, right? Oh yeah, and then you have to do this.
No skirts. Here.
No skirts. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I will tell you, when I first did Snape, I was not mentally prepared to do drag. I actually thought, okay, I'm going to go up there and there's going to be all these other people and our Snapes are going to be so great, and I'm just going to be there and I'm just going to promote Granger Snape 100, right? Oh boy, was I ever so freaking wrong. And I freaked out, literally, because I had so many social code violations and pancake flipping of your brains. It's an experience that you might, if you run into it, I will tell you that go someplace quiet, take a deep breath, have a drink of water, and get your sights and just think, okay, I'm going to reorient my thinking. Now, I can handle all this stuff much better. Plus, I'm basically outing myself as a gal instead of trying to hide behind the costume. So, but when I'm doing Professor Snape, it doesn't come together until it all comes together. And I sit there and I look at myself in the mirror and it's me and it's not me, and that's the illusion that works. And it's like, oh my God, is that me? It's not so much I lust after myself, but it's your own self-surprise. If you can fool yourself at your own illusion, you're going to fool other people. And my time's up, guys. I've got to go.